Hello, everybody. It's your boy Art from Wrap Your Mind Around This. That's my other YouTube channel. You guys should go check it out if you want. If not, meh. So, anyways, today I'm going to be talking about acceptance, right? And what that what that looks like for me, and kind of take you out. I'm not taking you guys out anywhere. I'm going to take you on this journey, my journey, with my whole accepting self. So you know what that. So growing up, without further ado, here it is, right? So growing up, I always knew that like I thought a little bit different. I always had the awareness of me being attracted to the same sex. And like inside of my mind, I knew like, well, in my mind, I would tell myself like that's wrong. I shouldn't have those feelings. I shouldn't have those thoughts. It was against my belief growing up. I won't say what belief that was, but it was against it. I no longer practice that particular religion, but it is it was very frowned upon, right? And so it that was kind of a secret that I had growing up, right? So I kind of like put it away and held it in and pushed it back into a department, a mental and emotional department that I kind of just denied and neglected and didn't really embrace. And with that being said, when time went on, other things started coming up inside of my life, right? So I grew up without a father figure inside of my life. I only had my mother, and that kind of took a toll on me in its own way. And so I kind of struggled with, what a male role model really looked like and what that was supposed to be. And with that being said, I always looked up to my older brother, and he is an amazing older brother. I love him so much, right? And he taught me a lot. Like he really taught me a lot, and I appreciate him, right? And I appreciate my older sister too, because she also had taught me a lot. And my mother, she was that figure, that father figure in a sense, she raised, she was raising three boys that turned into three men. So with that being said, she couldn't be all the loving and nurturing mother that she always wanted to be. Well, I can't speak for her, but I would hope that's what she wanted to be, right? But she did the best she could, and I can't blame her for that, right? Like she did the best she could. Well, with that being said, as I got into out of puberty and adolescent, I'm out of puberty and going into I'm a teenager now at this point. Other things started arising. That's when a chemical balance. I had got diagnosed with a chemical balance, and that in itself was hard to accept, because I didn't want to be different. It was bad enough that I was already attracted to the same sex, and I had that guilt and that shame inside of me, and that hurt and that pain, right? Because how do I go ahead and accept that part of me. I didn't. Nobody that I knew growing up was a part of the LGBTQIA2S plus community. Um, so it was very difficult, right? Like, who do I turn to? Who do I talk to about this? And on top of it, who do I turn to and talk to about having this chemical imbalance? So before I continue going, let me rewind a little bit. So for those of you who do not know what all those acronyms stand for, L is for lesbian, G is for gay, B, bisexual, T is transsexual, I is intersectional, A is asexual, and 2S is two-spirit. So in some Native American cultures and in some tribes, I mean, in the Native American cultures, there are some tribes that recognize the queer community, and they're identified as two spirits. So there it is there. So I didn't know where to turn, and I was like kind of lost, right? And I felt alone a lot of the times. Most of the time, I felt alone and lonely because I had nobody to relate to or look up to in those areas. So, you know, I just went on with life, and I ended up coming out to my family at the age of 14. And that was really scary to me, right? And the reason was because inside of my mind, and because of my ignorance of not really knowing what the whole community brought or what that looked like, right? Or that lifestyle even. I thought, you know, every person inside of that community gets AIDS and they die. And I was so scared because I didn't want to die. You know, I just wanted to be myself, right? I just wanted to be accepted through others, right? From other people. Because again, I didn't know how to validate my own feelings or what was going on with me. I always went outside of self, and I always looked for validation from other people. And if I didn't get that validation from other people, I was just lost. I didn't know where to go with that, right? So I would just go to different people until I got that validation, because it would just leave me with an empty hole, or just these thoughts inside of my mind, like, what am I doing wrong? So with that being said, my family was very receptive to it. My particular case or my story is great because I get to have a great family that like accepts me for me, even when I didn't even accept me for me, right? Because it was just something I knew I had to do to no longer hold this secret inside. But there was still a lot of shame. There was still a lot of guilt inside of myself that I didn't tell anybody. And I let this shame and this guilt stay inside of a compartment in my life. And I just shoved it down, like deep down, right? And I didn't let anybody see it. I didn't let anybody know it. I put on a mask, and I put on a lie that I am a confident gay man, and I like me, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of being a gay man, right? And the reality of it was I wasn't. I I didn't like it. I hated it, actually. Like, so much shame still was embedded in that lie. And I told myself that lie for so many years, that I was okay with myself, that I kind of tricked myself that I was okay with it, right? And I kind of perfected that mask, right? I remember my mom telling me, some strong, powerful words that I'll never forget, and I still hold them with me today. And she had said, the world isn't nice, and people aren't going to like you, and people aren't going to love you like we do. And if you think you have tough skin, thick skin, think again, and you better grow more skin on top of that, and get thicker skin, because people are going to talk about you in front of your face, behind your back, want to fight you, even want to kill me, right? And they're going to hate me, right? Because of the lifestyle, and because of me being me. But if this was the lifestyle I choose, and that I was going to walk, to never walk with my head down, to always look forward and, pick my battles and be the bigger person. And I appreciate that. Those were some strong, powerful words that I hold with me today, and I have inside of my toolbox, right? Because sometimes I have to be that bigger person, and I have to turn around and act like I didn't hear somebody say some ignorant stuff or hateful stuff towards me, right? Because it just isn't worth it. It isn't worth my happiness, right? It isn't worth my time. Other people's problem, I've learned, that's them. I can't do anything about it. I'm just going to continue being me. So that was me actually just coming out. Me now dealing with, this chemical imbalance, and how do I accept that? And for years, those two things I identified with, right? I identified as a gay man or gay person that has a chemical imbalance. And that was really uncomfortable for me. A lot of shame, again, guilt, blame, anger, sadness, came with all that. I was so confused. I had so many questions, like, why me, right? Like, why am I faced with these challenges? I would ask myself, why me, right? But I would push that aside and just continue going on day to day. And it became overwhelming, and I didn't know what to do with those emotions. I didn't know what to do with those feelings. So there were times where I would numb myself by substance use, right? That being any type of mood, mind altering substance, I would do, because it was just too unbearable to face self. And accepting that, I couldn't accept myself, right? So I always try to run away, and that I did. I learned how to do that really well. I learned how to numb those feelings and those thoughts and those questions and the worry and that shame and that guilt and that pain. I learned how to numb it very, very, very well. And there's more to this, and I'm gonna leave you guys right here. I will be doing a follow-up video, so please stay tuned on Accepting Self Part 2, okay? I love you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. I have the best people on this channel who subscribe to my channel, and yeah, so stay tuned. I have more to share because this journey of self-acceptance continues, okay? So yeah, stay tuned. If you guys like it so far and you guys don't want to miss anything, you know what to do. Hit that bell, give me that thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. One love.